Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and welcome to This Week in WoW for the week of May 28th. As always, we will get started with the Mythic Plus affixes for this week. This week we have Fortified, Storming, and Bursting. Again, that's Fortified, Storming, and Bursting. Very easy affixes this week. It kind of fits in well. A lot of people are a lot of the hardcore players, I should say, are kind of finishing up on their mop remix stuff. If they want to push keys, this would be a good week to come back and do some keys. It's very, very simple week overall, with Fortified and Storming being the main. And then obviously if you're doing high keys, you have the Bursting as well in there. Bursting, not as bad as last season is. Last season was, because the pulls are not quite as big, except for certain dungeons they are. But yeah, not as big as like some of those Everbloom pulls and stuff like that, right? So overall, a fairly easy week. I did some keys last week, even though I played a lot of Mop Remix, trying to farm some Aspect Crests to finish off my gear for this, and before we move on to the beta of the War Within. But let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in game this week. So on retail here, we have World Quest event. I always encourage people doing this one. I think they should make all the events that efficient. Like, it's like a weekly event should be like an efficient thing that you do. You complete it and you feel like you get a reward. World Quest event does do that, in my opinion, but it's one of the only ones that does. And then we also have a PvP brawl, which is Comp Stomp, which is one of the most more favorite ones if you need to farm stuff. Like, this is the week to do it, right? You come back, you're a new player. Whether you are coming back like from a break or you're a new player, Comp Stomp's just a great way to farm honor because it's just very easy. It's a little bit mindless, but it's very easy. Later in the week, we'll have the Darkmoon Fair starting up for next week as we head into June. So you Darkmoon Fair, same stuff as always there with achievements, pets, mounts, all that kind of stuff, and hopefully a rework coming in the War Within. Other than that, there's nothing really going on in game. So we can talk a little bit about the War Within. We can talk a little bit about the Mop Remix. I just did a video about Mop Remix. There's been a bunch of like drama and stuff going on with it. I think it's just because people are bored. Whenever, especially the WoW community, any community, but especially the WoW community gets bored, there's always like a bunch of drama over nothing. If you're not super online and not like looking at World of Warcraft creators arguing and stuff, you're not going to really notice it, because sometimes they are, but very rarely are they actually like real issues that normal gamers face. But yeah, there's a bunch of that going on. So I just talked about it a little bit because there was just so much discourse about it. And if you're someone who doesn't know anything about it, you can just watch my video without getting like a biased take and, be like, oh, so that's why that person in my group had 10 bajillion health and was one-shotting a raid boss. Then you can kind of like understand that. And as far as War Within goes, we still do not have any big information coming out. What I think the big information is going to be is, I think the beta is going to be dropping here rather shortly for the War Within. I don't know how it's going to work, because basically you got beta access if you pre-ordered. It might have had to be the Epic Edition, but if you pre-ordered War Within, you get beta access automatically. So is that just going to be everybody day one when beta opens? Is it going to go in waves? Is it, because it does, it just says you're going to get beta access on the thing. So who knows how that's going to be. But once beta starts, I'm going to be on the War Within. I'm going to be turbo looking into Ret Paladin stuff and the hero talents. I'm going to be turbo looking all around everywhere that I'm allowed to go and looking for kind of secret stuff. I'm going to be so locked into War Within, and I'm planning on doing a lot of content for it because I'm very excited for the expansion. And I'm having fun, like, towards this end of the Dragonflight. Like, I've loved Dragonflight. Plunderstorm, I loved. Mop Remix, I'm having a lot of fun with. And I'm still capping out my gear for this season here on retail as well. Since I'm not mythic rating, my gear's pretty much mostly capped where it's going to be as far as the actual pieces of gear. I just literally farming Aspect Crests. I'll probably be like 524, 525 since I'm not mythic rating. And I'll be capped out and done for retail. So I am working on that. I want to get that done before the beta if I can, but it's a lot of dungeons to cap out your Aspect Crest. So that's where I'm at, and I'm just super waiting to play the War Within, to do stuff on the War Within. So that's where I'm at. That's going to be it for this one, though. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel because that helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.